Now you're ready to try it yourself, so let's take this opportunity to change the settings on your machine and stitch out samples of some of the most common serger stitches. Let's start with the 4-thread overlock. This stitch is the most commonly used serger stitch and is the strongest for construction. Your needle tensions should all be set at 4. Engage the stitch finger by pushing it forward and set the cutting width to 6. Your stitch length should be 2.5 and your differential feed is at 1. Stitch that out, and if you've threaded your machine with thread corresponding to the color coding on your machine, this stitch will show the upper looper thread in blue on the front and the lower looper thread in red on the back. Next, we're going to do the 3-thread overlock stitch. This stitch is very similar to the 4-thread overlock, but it isn't as bulky or quite as strong because only one needle is used. Still, the 3-thread overlock is great for quickly finishing edges and seam allowances. Your needle tensions should be at 4, and you don't need to set the tension for the left needle because we're only using the right needle in this. You're going to engage your stitch finger and set the cutting width to 6. Your stitch length should be at 2.5 and your differential feed is at 1. You're going to cut your left needle thread and pull that out. And then you're going to remove your left needle. This will set you up for a narrow 3-thread overlock. If you want a wide 3-thread overlock, remove the right needle instead. Now we're going to do a 3-thread rolled hem. To create a rolled hem, the serger rolls the very edge of the fabric to the underside and encloses that edge with thread. This stitch is great both as a decorative element and as a way to hem lightweight and sheer fabrics. One way to make this stitch look really great is to use Flatlock stretch thread in the upper and lower loopers. You're going to set your right needle tension at 3.5, your upper looper tension at 4, and your lower looper tension at 7.5. Cut your left needle thread, pull that thread out at the needle, and then remove your left needle. You're going to set your stitch length to 1 or even lower, and your differential feed to 1, and then disengage your stitch finger and set your cutting width to 5. Go ahead and stitch that out and you can see that it does a really nice rolled hem. And if you use Flatlock stretch, it's going to be even more filled in. Now you're going to try a 3-thread flatlock. So a flatlock is a type of stitch that securely joins 2 pieces of fabric by creating a seam that lays flat when finished. For a narrower flatlock, use your right needle. Set your right needle tension at 2.5, your upper looper at 4, and your lower looper at 7. Cut your left needle thread, pull the thread out at the needle, and then remove your needle. Set your stitch length to 2.5 and your differential feed to 1. Make sure to engage your stitch finger, push it forward, and set the cutting width to 6. You're going to stitch out your sample and then pull the fabric open firmly to open up the stitch. And you'll see how it kind of creates this ladder effect. And that's laying the fabrics one on top of the other and allows it to lay nice and flat.